1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Did you not clap?
And again.
Well, I thought you said on 3 because of the...
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I went when you said 3.
I forget that means something different. That I'm going to count to 3 and then do it.
On 3,
Can we do
on
a
3
normal
means...
clap?
A normal clap, yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pacific Standard, guys. My name is Carter Briggs, and with me, as always, are my two super co-hosts, Mason Winter.
Hello.
And Abel Stoika. And today we are talking about Superman, original Superman, Richard Donner, original Superman, first Superman. Definitely not the first Superman.
That was a great title.
Yep.
I thought that was a great choice.
Yep. I'm glad that it says that on the poster. Can I kick this off? Actually, we should say what happens. Abel, what happened? Abel, tell us what happened.
So, in case you're unfamiliar with Superman, he's from another planet. He's a little baby, and his parents are like, hey, the planet's going to explode. And they're like, no, it's not. And they go, okay, but just in case, we're going to send our... they know that the planet's going to explode, but they send the baby in a spaceship down to Earth, and on Earth, he gets raised by this older couple from Kansas, Smallville, Kansas. He's raised as a human, but he starts to realize that he has incredible strength and superhuman abilities such as flight and X-ray vision. And Pa Kent dies. I almost said Uncle Ben. We're going to ignore that. Pa Kent dies of a heart attack, and then he decides he's going to go save people. Goes to the Fortress of Solitude, gets his suit, goes to Metropolis, starts working at the Daily Planet, meets Lois Lane. The two kind of fall for each other but she falls for Superman, he falls for her as Clark, but she doesn't really care about Clark. Lex Luthor wants to blow up the San Andreas fault and create a bunch of real estate, which I'm sure Carter has choice words about that plot line, both in regards to LA would be underwater and
good
capitalism. So Lex Luthor's plan is evaded by Superman. He takes care of things. Lois does die, so then he screams and turns back time and saves her and the coast of California at the same time. And that's your movie from 1978.
All right. I have a few notes.
Me too.
First note.
Took a few notes.
I think this movie's effects are fucking incredible. Especially when you take into account the time that this was made. These movies' effects are fucking incredible. I have to get that out of the way first. Like, at no point... There's a couple points where the green screen's kind of off, but also...
It's just the green screen, really. And that's the problem.
But also, all movies of this era with green screen look so much worse than this green screen. And two, I totally understand and can, like, figure out in my brain how they put digital effects onto movies that were shot digitally. That makes all the sense in the world to me, right? The idea of putting effects on shit that was filmed in film baffles my fucking brain to a point that I don't function. Like, I get it. They could tell me how it's done, and then I'd be like, you're crazy, and I don't trust you. This is amazing. The Krypton stuff, the model work they did for that, it looks so good. So I have nothing but praise for this movie in terms of effects and in terms of, like...
Scope.
In terms of story. Well, in terms of scope and in terms of story, it was the first Superman movie. So I found myself when I was watching it being like, we get it. Can we move past the fucking Superman origin, please? Please. And then I realized, oh, wait, nobody got it yet. They hadn't seen Superman. This was the first thing. So it's fine that they spent this long.
The meme of the guy eating cereal. He goes, a man can't fly. And then he watches Superman and he spits it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Because you will believe. Yeah.
You'll
the thing.
you'll believe a man can fly. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, and it's a hallmark of an era of movies. Opening credits are fucking stupid.
This is the longest intro to a movie I think I've ever seen.
It's so long and it's so fucking boring. It is literally neon letters flashing at you. They say Richard Donner's name 3 times. Here's the thing about opening credits. There's some movies that do opening credits really well. I think Wes Anderson movies do opening credits really well because they're fun and they're short and they're sweet and they're pithy, right? It just keeps going and the plot continues and or starts as the opening credits happen, right? This movie literally is just neon names flashing at you, flashing away, and it's like almost all of the names. It's so fucking long.
It's really funny when
It's
you watch like even older movie than this, like one from like the 50s or 40s or God forbid the 30s, where it's literally the entire credits is at the beginning.
Yep.
Then you watch the movie and at the end you forget about that and the movie ends and they just say the end and then it's over.
Yep.
Like we're so used to these long like credit sequences at the end that when it's over, like when you're watching it on a streaming service, it just says the end and then it goes back to the home screen. It's kind of
Which,
jarring.
correct me if this take is wrong, but I think having them all at the end is better not only for the viewer, but also the maker of the movie. Because from the viewer's standpoint, if you don't enjoy the movie, you're like, I want to get out of here. I don't want to watch these credits. If you did enjoy the movie, you're like, I want to know who that guy was, or this girl was, or who directed this, or who did what on this movie.
Yeah.
And I think if you really are interested in what they did or like what they did, then you'll stay after because you want to know who did it.
Yeah. I'm sorry that's the wrong opinion. I'm just joking. I totally agree with you.
I agree. I also am of the opinion that this, like, if I was alive at this time, I don't think I would have liked movies because I would have been like, stop. Like, get to the movie. I kind of feel like that now with the ads. There's a real part of me whenever I'm in a movie theater and that ad comes on for the movie theater that you're already in watching the movie, right? When Nicole Kidman's stupid AMC ad happens, there's a real part of me that wants to throw popcorn at the screen and boo, right? I can't imagine sitting through, like, I swear to God, a 5-minute opening credit. It felt like it was 10.
I think it might have been 6.
It was long as fuck. It's like a decent percentage of the runtime of this movie is the opening credit.
It's a chunk.
But yeah, that's my biggest gripe with this movie. Is the opening credits. Everything else, I don't think I have any more huge gripes.
Krypton felt kind of black and white, if you know what I mean. Kind of like,
Yeah.
what is it? Yeti Prime in the new Dune movies. Like, just very monochromatic.
But not on.
And then Superman's baby blanket was just bright red and blue.
Just everything else. Their costumes are all these weird tinfoil costumes, and then just one piece of color. 2 pieces of color. The kryptonite crystal and Superman's baby blanket.
Yeah, if that didn't clue you in who this movie was about.
Ugh. Man, I don't know, dude.
I haven't read that many Superman comics, but whenever they show like Kryptonians or other Kryptonians like on Earth or whatever, when they have their suit on, it has the S on it. I think that's like their family crest or whatever.
That's only the Kal-El family. Yeah, the L's have it. Zod has a different crest because he's from the House of Zod.
Yeah. I just liked the designs that they did.
Sorry, Abel?
Isn't he in the Phantom Zone?
He is. That's what happens at the start. They put
he's
Zod.
in like the mirror, the glass.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I was like, those effects must have been so impressive until they invented transitions on Microsoft PowerPoint.
The start of the movie and that scene and those effects, I was like, are we watching the first Dune movie or is this Superman? Because I was getting weird vibes.
The first Dune.
It is. I like the first scene because it's like a tease for the next movie. Because I'm pretty sure they filmed them back to back. But the next movie is Zod getting out of the Phantom Zone and coming to Earth.
That's wild. Yeah,
and
because they copy that same plotline scene in Man of Steel, which we'll talk about next week. But then Zod's the main villain of that movie.
I'm not gonna count Man of Steel out for copying this movie since the movie
I'm
copied
not saying that
concept.
They're just reusing that same thing, but then the movie is actually about Zod, whereas this one it's like, look at this, Zod's going over here, and then we never talk about him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
That's a little too modern. They predicted superhero movies.
Well, I think they filmed both of these back to, I think the idea was that they were going to do
crazy.
in quick succession. Yeah, it is crazy.
This movie had a budget of $55 million, which was the most expensive movie ever at that point. And they were filming a back-to-back sequel. That's nuts. That's risky.
That is risky. But I'm all for it.
I've only seen this one once when I was little. I don't remember the only thing I remember is seeing the Superman's penis at the beginning. I was like, I didn't know you could show that.
Dude, crazy. I was gonna bring that up. I know this movie's from '78, but what the fuck?
Literally one of my notes is this little boy didn't need to be naked. That's one of my notes that I wrote down I have that on a journal forever now. It's just this little boy didn't need to be naked. He didn't have to be. He could have
just had him wearing pants. They just have the camera looking up.
Or just wrap him in that stupid blanket. Just wrap him in that dumb blanket.
Yeah, make it sparkly or something.
Also, can we talk about how Martha is super on board to kidnap that child?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Because they don't know who that is, right? And it is crazy. It's a weird situation, right? And immediately Pa Kent is like, hey,
this is ours.
Who do we... No, Pa Kent is like, who do we call? We got to find out who this kid's family is and what's going on. And Ma Kent is like, no, let's keep him. Let's keep him. God gave him to us. And I'm like, lady, if you found a kid lost at the supermarket, would you take him home? What the fuck is going on? That's wild. That's some wild shit.
I mean, he did kind of fall out of the sky, but that almost makes it more important to try to return him to his family.
I feel like genuinely, I'm like, I get why they didn't, because they don't trust the government, and they're right for that shit. Because also, who was the president in '78? I'm pretty sure it was a bad fucking guy, but I'm gonna check.
Superman saved him though.
Oh, it was Jimmy Carter. No, I would have called the government. Jimmy Carter would have been a fucking good guy to turn Superman over to. I personally think. You turn that guy over to Jimmy Carter, we get a good guy.
You're gonna have him building houses in no time.
Building houses, farming peanuts and whatnot.
No,
doing what he did in the
conflict of interest.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Jimmy Carter's conflict of interest versus conflict of interest now, Abel. Don't get me started. Don't. That's a bad road to walk. I mean, I kind of get why they didn't turn him over to the government, but I'm also kind of like, that's a toddler. I don't know if I saw a toddler pick up a car that I would be like, yeah, we can raise this.
It's mine now.
Well, legitimately, toddlers are assholes. They've never learned to be good. They hit you and shit all the time, and it's fine because they're toddlers. But if that toddler can pick up a truck, you probably will die if you're that toddler's parent. It's just
This is a premise in Twilight. We've been over this. You can't make children vampires because it's too much unbridled power within an unstable mind, like somebody who can throw a tantrum and kill a village.
Yeah.
So that's why children vampires aren't allowed.
No. I didn't know that about Twilight.
Now you know.
Now, the more you know.
I knew that happened, but I wasn't sure the reasoning why.
That's why. Now you know.
Now we know. Resident Twilight expert Mason has given us the goods.
Is Twilight better than this movie, Mason?
Yeah.
Wild take.
All of them?
Better than all the Supermans?
All the Twilights.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was kind of imagining was the whole Twilight story start to finish.
Versus just this first Superman movie.
Yeah.
What a wild take. What all right.
But I'm also like basing that off the books as well, so
That's still a
the
wild
movies are a different conversation.
That's still a wild take.
Are the books good?
Dude, I read a lot as a kid. I don't know. They fell across my lap and I was like, okay.
This is a ploy, dude. This is a ploy. Mason wants a vampire girly. This is a ploy. We can all see
I've
through
been there,
this.
done that. It doesn't work, Carter.
We can all see through this ploy to get yourself a vampire girlfriend off the internet, Mason. Stop. Stop it. I'm putting my foot down. Twilight isn't good. I'm putting my foot down.
All our vampire girly viewers, you know who to call. If
you're a vampire girly who listens to this show, email in, please.
Carter wants a vampire girly.
No. I'm just saying,
Please
anybody
For
email
my
in.
friend. For my friend.
Yeah.
Sure. Carter.
For my
Mason-
friend who doesn't have
Mason-
access to the email.
No. Mason wants vampire girlies to email in. I want any fucking buddy to email in, please.
I think the harder we beg,
Carter
the
just
more
made a
likely.
trap, and as he was stepping out, it sprung on him.
It did. I got sprung.
All right, let us continue talking about Superman.
Fine, I
I
guess.
forgot
bring it
that
up a
John
second
Williams did the score.
It's really good.
God, this guy is untouchable.
It made
Right.
so much sense to me that like the iconic Superman music was made by John Williams. I was like, oh yeah.
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 Like
course.
it's a struggle to think of like iconic music like iconic movie music pre 2000 that wasn't made by John Williams. Like there is stuff, but like your mind just jumps to like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, I guess Superman as well. That one doesn't like
Yes.
jump out to me as much, but like when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, that's Superman.
Yeah. And all the Superman themes after that are mostly based off the original John Williams one.
Yeah, I hear them replicating it for this new one. Like in the trailers and stuff, they have like a new updated version.
Yep.
We got to learn Superman's real weakness in this movie.
What's that?
Revolving doors, it seems.
Yep.
Well, he figures them out pretty quick. He used one to change,
True.
which means he was technically naked for a second in public, but that's fine.
Not really, because his shirt, it's under his suit. So he just took off his suit.
That's true. Yeah.
Nah, because if
It's
you
just-
travel fast enough, time appears to freeze to you. So.
Yeah, but first, it's a technicality. I feel a little strange, like
it's
going
not
to
a
the gym and
technicality,
taking
it's
pants
physics,
off.
which is the laws of nature.
Technicality, Mason. The laws of physics are a technicality.
I'm saying this is what actually happened, and you said, well, actually, it doesn't appear as though that happened, even if it did. We're both correct. I'm just more correct.
Based off the beginning of this movie, Abel, fucking
Abel.
Superman has no problem being nude at home.
No, they show his dick
Or
in the
it-
movie, and it's a child.
Yeah.
It's rated PG.
Yep. 70s were a wild time, man.
I thought it was hilarious when he's trying to keep that train on the tracks, and he lies down and uses his body as rail.
He's a track.
Do you think that shit went through his crack? Did the little credit card swipe on him?
Well, I mean, that's the only way you could keep it on. I mean, probably.
It's really not good for your spine, man. Fuck.
Probably not. But I think his spine is invulnerable, so he's fine.
Yeah, he's probably fine. But the thing is, ow.
I actually do have another gripe with this movie, and it's not the movie's fault.
Gripe at it, buddy.
This has created the worst versions of Lex Luthor, and it keeps creating them.
Go on. I want to hear.
Okay, Lex Luthor's plan in this movie is a fucking land deal, right?
Yeah.
I no problem with that. It was the 70s. They needed like a smart guy plan. There weren't that many comic book movies. It's fine. In the comics, Lex Luthor is like a genius, and he becomes like the president, and like he has these battle armors that are powered by kryptonite.
He's kind of like a evil megalomaniacal Iron Man kind of guy, right? Like they're different, of course, but like that's more what I get from other media than this.
I would disagree. Lex Luthor, I think, is smarter than Iron Man. He's a smarter guy. Like in a lot of DC comics, if there's like a villainous plot, Lex Luthor's got some fingers in it, and he like runs the country basically. This started the Lex Luthor's a putz who makes a land deal. And I think it works in this movie. I think Gene Wilder plays a really funny... Or not Gene Wilder. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman plays a really funny Lex Luthor for this, like, camp movie. But then in Superman Returns, Kevin Spacey plays Lex Luthor, and he's a dude doing a land deal. Like, there's just a lot of...
They just do the same thing?
He's just a dude doing a fucking land deal.
That's so lame.
His plot, again, is... What if I did a land deal? And I'm gonna be honest, I don't want Superman.
I thought Lex was notorious in the comics for loving his land.
I mean, yeah, but he just buys it. Like, Lex is rich enough that if he wanted to buy the coast of California, he would just buy it.
This is how he got that kind of money, you know? This is a Lex Luthor money origin story.
I mean, kind of, but it doesn't work.
No.
Also, he launches a nuke, doesn't he, at the United States?
Yeah.
Ballistic missile.
I feel like he gets off pretty easy.
Yeah, all he has to do is take off his toupee and they don't care.
Like, also, this is the other part about his plan that I don't understand. He just thought everybody was going to be like, well, yeah, you own that land now, and we can't arrest you for firing a missile at the U.S.,
because this movie's made for children.
I know, but he's like, it's a bad plan. It's a dumb, bad plan for the villain. Also, Mason, I disagree. Superman's weakness isn't revolving doors. His weakness is women who are mean to him and don't care about him in this movie.
True.
It happens twice. It happens twice with two different people.
He's a puppy dog, dude.
He's a little puppy. Like, Lois Lane, not cool how you're treating my boy Clark Kent. Clark Kent, kind of weird, kind of creepy the way you're acting around Lois sometimes.
It's the whole movement of people who were like in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. That group of people who were of the opinion, they were like, fuck Mary Jane. Peter should be with that chick who lives across the hall.
Yeah. They're both not moving correct, I think. Lois Lane is being weird, but also Clark Kent's being weird. And he's especially being weird because of the Superman stuff. It's weird. Don't take relationship or flirting advice from this movie ever. In fact, do the opposite.
There's
for everybody.
Two unconsensual kisses, and one of them is with a dead person. It's rated PG, guys.
PG.
Sign of the times.
There are two unconsensual kisses. Even though there's a moment in this movie where she totally was down to Mac.
Yeah. As long as he's not Clark Kent.
Yeah, as long as he's not Clarky boy. Which is fine, Lois. Like who you like, but why are you leading on my boy Clark Kent? And Clark, stop. She doesn't like you. Stop. Leave her alone. Or be like, hey, I'm Superman. Either way. Everybody's got to change tact. Everybody's got to be different in this movie. I don't like it. It made me feel yucky. Everybody in this movie, when they talked about relationships, made me feel yucky. And that's not good.
It didn't have this effect on me, but like sometimes when I watch like a movie with like a romantic subplot, some of the things that happen just make me so uncomfortable that I'm just like, oh, just explain yourselves to each other and it'll all be fine. Stop. You know,
it wasn't even. I was uncomfortable because I was like, just stop moving so weird. You're both moving real weird and toxic. You're both being really toxic, and it's not fun. I don't like your chemistry because it's toxic as fuck.
That was like
more
the
like
most
that.
like Gen Z sounding thing I think I've ever heard you say, Carter. You're moving so
That's
weird,
true.
So toxic.
It is super toxic. You know what it
Yeah,
feels like? It
you're
feels
right.
like watching. It feels like watching 500 Days of Summer. This whole romantic plot feels like watching 500 Days of Summer.
I've never seen that.
Oh.
I almost watched
Sorry,
it
Greg.
like a couple weeks ago though. But
Wow. Well, that's a reference none of my friends got. That's cool. That's fun.
now you know how I feel. I'll just be like at work and I'll randomly quote a YouTube video without even thinking about it. I'm like, there's no way anybody else that I work with has ever seen this.
What YouTube video, Abel? Give us an example.
It was, I can't remember exactly the quote, but it's from a donkey video from like 15 years ago. I think it's from Top 100 Games. That was a video I really liked. Do you guys like Donkey?
What?
I don't
Video
know if I
game
know who that
donkey?
is.
You guys don't know who Video
No.
Game Donkey is?
What'd you call
No.
me?
This explains why this humor
What'd you
isn't
call
landed
me?
sometimes.
Donkey is a Norwegian verb meaning to knock or to thump.
No, it's like donkey with a U.
It can also be used in the context of to pound or to beat.
You guys have never seen Video Game Donkey?
No.
What the hell?
We had cable TV.
Oh, in some contexts, particularly slang, dunk on can mean to publicly criticize or make fun of someone, often on social media. Donkey in Norwegian verb is Norwegian for dunked on.
Abel, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like this guy's profile picture.
He hasn't changed it since I subscribed when I was in 7th grade.
Oh, he bought a Switch 2? What a
Donkey.
bum.
How are you guys finding this?
I looked up video game donkey through Google, Mason. It's a beautiful application. That's not
I
true.
was on
Google.
Firefox.
You can use Google and Firefox.
I wasn't on Firefox. It was a joke.
I use Firefox.
I think there was 2 other scenes in Superman that I wrote down I liked. 2 of the notes are about one scene, and it's the robbery where Lois and Superman get held up at gunpoint. The first thing, the way the robbery kicks off is a disembodied hand pops out of an alley with a gun, and you don't really see a person. And then that gun then ushers them into the alleyway.
Yeah.
And then finally when Clark, because Clark didn't seem, he seems very uptight and kind of nerdy throughout all of the beginning. Not much like personality or like humor to him. And then when he successfully fooled Lois and convinced her that he fainted during the robbery, when he caught the bullet, he kind of like smirked to himself and was like, I got you. I fooled you.
Yeah, he's had a little mischievous grin.
So I really enjoyed the robbery scene.
Shall we get into quotes, or is there any other notes that we want to tackle?
I mean, the only other note I had was the funny newspaper salesman who also sells pretzels, and he's blind. So he has a dog that's somehow trained to bark whenever people are trying to rip him off and not pay for what they're taking.
That's funny.
If nothing else from you guys, yeah, I'm ready for quotes.
Yeah. Carter, did you have a quote that you wanted to kick us off with?
I didn't really have a quote from this movie. I don't really have one.
I have 3, so you could take one of mine.
I have 3 as well. Let's hope we don't cross over all 3.
All right. Should we do 1 and 1 back and forth?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, you go.
I guess my first one is Lois is interviewing Clark as Superman, and she's getting kind of flustered. And instead of asking how tall is Superman, she goes, "How big are you?"
Fun little innuendo, maybe.
She catches herself and she goes, how tall are you?"
I think my favorite one, the one that just stuck with me the most, was when Perry White, the newspaper editor, is scrambling to get everyone doing stories on Superman. And he's just rattling off a bunch of questions of like what he wants to know. One of them is, what's he got under his cape? Batteries?
Oh, this one's also when Superman is being interviewed by Lois for the first time, and he's trying to tell her where he comes from, and he says the planet Krypton, and she's like, "Krypton, C-R-I," and he steps in, he's like, "No, actually, Krypton with a K." And that made me laugh because it just kind of implies that on Krypton they speak English and read and write it the same way we do. Nah, Krypton with a K.
I liked it when Superman was catching Lois Lane from falling out of the helicopter and off the building, and he's like, "Easy, miss, I got you," and she goes, "You got me? Who's got you?"
Yeah,
Just
I like that one.
Classic line. Did you have another one, or?
Yeah, I've got one more.
Okay.
It was when they were interviewing Lois's character when Clark is first at the Daily Planet, and she's kind of pestering the head of the newspaper and trying to get her story on the paper. And there's this like throwaway line as she's walking out of the scene, so her voice kind of trails off and you can almost miss it. But she goes, "Remember my expose on the sex and drug orgies in the senior citizen home?"
I totally missed that one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great one, though.
I think my other one is when Lex Luthor, does what only the smartest person in the world would do in this situation, is kidnap Superman, tell him his entire evil plan, and then, put kryptonite around him to restrain him. He could easily get out of it. But anyways, he's explaining it, and he goes, "No hard feelings. We all have our faults. Mine's in California." All right, Carter, take your pick from those quotes.
Dude, I have a different tact. I'm going to say my least favorite quote.
That's
of the ones we did?
No. Not of the ones you did in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's that poem Lois reads in her mind when she's flying with Superman.
The Litany of Fear?
When they're on their little date. Hold on. Let me find it. I'm going to read a word for
I remember
Lois Lane's.
Beautiful poem.
Ugh. No, wrong. Incorrect. Yeah, I'm just going to say the "can you read my mind" part. She's like flying with him, and she says, "Can you read my mind? Oh, do you know what it is that you do to me? I don't know who you are. Just a friend from another star. Ugh. Here I am, like a kid out of school holding hands with a god. I'm a fool. What is this rhyming scheme? Ugh! Will you look at me quivering like a little girl shivering? You can see right through me. Can you read my mind? Can you picture the things I'm thinking of? Graphic. Wondering why you are, all the wonderful things you are. You don't even know this guy. You can fly, you belong in the sky. You and I could belong to each other. If you need a friend, I'm the one to fly to. If you need to be loved, here I am. Read my mind." What a I don't like it.
Somebody give Carter his Oscar for that.
I don't like it. It's not good. It's a bad poem. And no, I didn't like it. I'm not a fan. Least favorite quote.
What would you rate that poem out of 10?
1 or 2.
Damn.
I'd give it a complete fail. That's an F in my book, dog.
You completely failed.
Ugh. Terrible. Terrible Lois Lane. She's lucky she didn't say that shit out loud. That would have been their
Do you
last
guys
date.
remember when I said I was listening to like the first 10 episodes because they were long enough ago that I had forgotten some of the moments within them and they were funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In doing that, I completely missed Abel hit an American Idol reference and he was like, "It's gonna be a no from me, dog," and it completely went over my head at the time, and then re-listening to it I caught it and I was like, no.
I just know the meme. Like I don't watch American Idol. Have never.
It's just a dude who was a judge on American Idol for many years, and that was his go-to phrase when he was saying no to somebody. He'd just be like, "It's gonna be a no from me, dog."
I liked it because someone it was one of my favorite like memes when I was in high school. It was that picture of him and they put him in pirate gear and it says when someone offers your dog a treat but you don't trust them, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. That's the only reason why that's like stuck with me.
Jokes like that hit in Tortuga.
In Tortuga. You're fired, Mason. In Tortuga.
Why am I fired?
I don't know. You're not fired. I take it back.
It's the pirate hideout.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
It's a pirate party place.
Whatever, bro. I prefer Nassau, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, bitch.
You would. And you would like to be in the CIA, wouldn't you?
No.
Just hidden away.
I don't want to be in the CIA.
I'll have you know, Carter, there's a bad connotation nowadays with hidden away islands. I don't think you want to be associated with shit like that.
All right, pal.
I'll keep my shenanigans out in the open in Tortuga. Because my shenanigans, although debaucherous, are innocent.
They can't be debaucherous and innocent, Mason.
Ultimately, they're not causing harm to anyone else. Just themselves and their livers.
Mason.
Carter.
Doing his debaucherous shit out in the open on an island. Fucking freak.
It's called vacation, bitch.
I would actually hate it. He'd
Mason
be like,
doesn't like
"Here, have
islands."
some rum," and I'd be like, "It hurts my stomach."
Rum hurts my tummy. Mason couldn't be a pirate.
Yeah, a pirate's life. It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
It's not for me.
The pirate's life is not for me.
Dog.
I get seasick. I'm not about this.
Oh, I get seasick bad. I get car sick bad,
but there was
actually.
like one time I didn't feel good, and I did. So I think it's just the fact that if I don't feel well, the boat will amplify it heavily.
The boat.
The boat.
The boat makes your cold worse.
Yeah.
All right, shall we
But
rate this
normally,
movie?
chill. I think so.
Let's rate it.
Mason, go.
Okay.
Go. I'm just kidding. Take your time.
Considering when this movie came out, that it was the first Superman movie. Like Carter said, the effects for the time were insane. They're very well done. And I would argue, ultimately, this movie still holds up, and I think that's crazy, and it deserves credit for that. The detriment I felt was in the beginning, and I forgot to touch on this earlier. But the first act where Superman and kind of leading up to when Superman's Papa Kent, when he dies, his adoptive father, basically, he has a heart attack. And there's all the scenes with Clark and his adoptive mother. That acting, I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like play acting to me, where it's almost like overacting so that the people in the back of the room are able to understand what you're doing and saying. and it almost felt like there wasn't any like real connection between he and his mom. I felt like it was remedied once the scenes at the Daily Planet, people were going about their business. It felt like everyone was kind of behaving a little more normally and talking to each other a little bit more like how people would. Whereas the scenes with Clark and his mom in the beginning felt stiff. I think overall, I think 7 out of 10 for this for me.
All right. Carter?
No, Abel, you go. Let's hear it. Come on, Abel.
Okay. Yeah, this movie, I'm surprised we made it this far without touching on this. It's like long. Like it's 2 hours, 22 minutes, I think. When I started it, I was like, oh boy, it's going to be a long one. It actually didn't feel that bad, honestly. And it's surprising because there is a lot that they had to pack into this movie. The first act is basically just a Superman origin story of how he became like an adult superhero. And then the second and third act are him in Metropolis, you know, making connections, falling in love, like fighting Lex Luthor kind of. And I feel like the pacing was good. It was just long, but you don't really feel it at all. Just wanted to bring that up. Yeah, the effects hold up pretty well, except for some green screen parts that were a little shaky, like in retrospect. I'm sure at the time they were miles better than most other movies coming out. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I like the portrayal of Superman, all the characters. I liked, all the people at the Daily Planet were great. The Perry White is hilarious. Jimmy's fun. Lex Luthor, I feel like his depiction, like Carter said, is really silly compared to what they could have done. It is kind of a children's movie plot line, like level plot line writing wise, just with him, you know, having a silly plan of blowing up California to make money. Like, it works. Like, it's fine. It's just, I feel like in retrospective, compared to other superhero media where there are similar characters doing much more interesting plot lines, I guess, with their like villainous plan or whatever. It seems really silly that they went with the cartoonish route. Overall, it's a good time, despite some corny moments. I would also give it a 7 out of 10.
All right, is that me?
That's you. Unless Mason wants to go again.
I thought this movie was mostly good, especially for the time. There were a lot of problems I had. The Lex Luthor thing is more like, I don't think it does the character of Lex Luthor service, but also it's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It more pisses me off because of how many times they've done Lex Luthor doing a land deal after this. But that's not this movie's fault. Honestly, the real problem I had with this, and it's minor, because I think a lot of this movie, from how they wrote it and the amount of time they spend on certain things, and I think this is a problem that not a lot of people have, I didn't like the Lois Lane Superman romance plot, and it takes up quite a bit of the runtime of this movie. And every time they focus on it, I was like, I hate this. I don't like this. Like I said, it made me feel yucky.
I thought it was kind of fun, though. Like, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't like... But that's my point. It wasn't... I didn't feel good about it. And it's a lot of the runtime of this movie. Other than that, I really don't have any problems. I do like the idea of reversing the rotation of the Earth, making time go backwards. That's funny to me. It's a very camp movie. Like, I'm fine with the camp of this movie. That's on purpose, clearly. But like it spends a lot of time on this romance, and it was yucky to me from both, and it was just yucky in like a, you guys shouldn't be together way. Like, This seems like a relationship that won't last and is going to be bad for both of you. And then, again, opening credits. So I'm going to give this movie a groundbreaking visually / pretty decent story. That's my rating.
Unquantifiable.
Are those two tags. Unquantifiable. I mean, it was quantified by the adjectives, and then people can take what they want from it.
So you're giving it a 0, basically, because I can't put that in the spreadsheet.
No. Ah, fuck. Fine. Spreadsheet. Give it a. I'm gonna give it a C+. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
I'm gonna give it a ham sandwich.
I'll buy Richard Donner a ham sandwich for making this. That sounds about right.
All right.
That
what
sounds
have we been
correct.
looking at?
Fucking nothing, man.
What are we viewing?
Nothing.
Carter hasn't opened
That's not
his
true.
eyes since we recorded the last episode.
That's not true. Actually, there is one. It's the 2025 Walking with Dinosaurs. It's on PBS. If your question is it as good as the original Walking with Dinosaurs? No. No, it is not.
That was what I was curious about.
It is not as good. The original Walking with Dinosaurs, you actually don't walk with dinosaurs until like 3 episodes in. Because it starts at the beginning of... It starts really far back in time. And then it goes chronologically. This takes a different tact, which is finding specific fossils and figuring out, like, imagining what their story would be. So, like, the first episode is a baby Triceratops fossil they found, and it wasn't with a herd. Like, there were no other deaths around it, like, or any other fossils around it. So it is theorized that baby Triceratops fossil was a fossil of a baby that got separated from its herd. And so they do that as a story. Which is fun, but it's not my Walking with Dinosaurs. Make a different series if you want to do that. Call it a different thing. Bastards.
But would you have watched it?
Yeah, it's a documentary about dinosaurs, Abel.
I know,
Yes.
But would most people have watched it?
I don't fucking know about most people. What do I know about most people? They better have.
They're trying to draw in viewers.
Ugh.
I know, it's despicable, honestly.
Despicable behavior, bro. Dude, I'm about to fight.
It's disgusting what's happening, honestly.
It's so gross.
I'm gagging. Walking with Dinosaurs. New season, different thing.
Different from first season? Bad.
Bad.
Nah, still good. Just not as good. Still good, not as good.
That's the final spin-off season of Walking Dead with dinosaurs.
That's perfect.
Yo, zombie fucking dinosaurs? Oh, no. Oh, no. They're as dangerous as regular dinosaurs.
I got to bring up Daryl in Paris to somebody at work the other day, and they like, yeah, that's a real show. And I'm like, yep.
Daryl in Paris. Daryl does
Daryl in
Paris.
It's the sequel series to Emily in Paris.
He finds Emily's corpse.
It's Lily Collins as a cameo as a zombie. That would be so funny, actually.
They should do it. I can't wait. I'm pretty sure Daryl in Paris is done, but I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, every episode I'm basically glued to the screen waiting to see Lily Collins show up as a zombie.
Yep.
You got anything else, Carter?
Nope. That's it.
You got anything, Mason?
The only thing I've watched the past couple of days is Full Swing. So it's basically Drive to Survive, but it's golf.
Netflix sports documentaries.
I think we found Mason's hyperfixation for the month, so that's fun.
I'm a year and a half into this. What do you mean?
You haven't really talked about it as much, though, you know?
Yeah.
This is the hyperfixation that you're leaning into more this month.
No, it's because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. These are back-to-back-to-back episodes, guys. And I wasn't going to bring up golf. I wasn't going to bring golf to this podcast. But you've left me no choice.
Fair enough.
All right. I have been watching more Daredevil. As Mason said, this has been really close to the last time we recorded, so I've only watched 3 more episodes. But it's getting good. Have you guys seen Daredevil season 3?
Yep.
No. But feel free.
Yeah, it's cool. Daredevil is back, but he's like, nobody knows that he's back really. So he's hunting down people and trying to get information about why the Kingpin is doing all this FBI shit. Bullseye's introduced. He's not quite Bullseye yet, but he's a fun character. The actor's fun. I've never seen him in anything else, but he reminds me a lot of Billy Magnuson. I don't know how to say his name, but I like him a lot as an actor, and I like this guy. Yeah, going good. Listened to Poppy's last album. Came out in November. I don't know if you guys even know who that is, but she does a lot of different genre stuff. Like her first couple albums were mostly pop, and then she did like a heavy like metalcore influenced album, and I got really into it there. And then she did another album that I didn't really care about that was like alt rock, so much so that I didn't even listen to the one after that, which apparently is just more pop. And then her last album that came out last year, her latest, I should say, she's not like done making music or anything. Negative Spaces, I listened to it today at the gym. It's really good gym music. It's very heavy, screaming shit. She's gotten better at the scream vocals over time, I feel like. She had this one feature on this Knocked Loose song that's like really big right now that I get stuck in my head like every other day, Suffocate. I don't know if you guys listen to any of this music or even know who I'm talking about, but have you guys heard of Knocked Loose?
No.
The band?
What is no. I was going to ask album, song, band, what?
They're a hardcore band.
Not a chance.
Okay. They're a lot of fun.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Poppy, Daredevil. Think I'm going to the Mariners game tomorrow. I'm gonna go see the band Pepper later this week. Some reggae stuff. Yeah, gonna be a good week.
Nice.
And I believe that's the episode. Next week we will be back watching Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder. This will be our second Zack Snyder joint on this show. I'm sure we're gonna have a couple Carter rants here and there. You might even get an Abel rant. Who knows? Anything can happen. Ain't that the
truth?
Only one way to find out is to tune in.
And hey, witches, wizards, Wiccans, practitioners of the dark arts, email in. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your deal is.
Girl or not, you can email us.
Girl, boy, non-binary. Like, come on. All the people, all the dark practitioners, man. Email in, please. I got some curses I want to set on people. Even if you just dabble in the dark arts.
Like, even if you install lighting.
Even if you're like a blacklight installation guy, let us know.
If you're a lighting technician, we want to hear from you. I got a couple friends who are electricians. Got some plumbers. You know, we can talk about stuff via email. Anyways, Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
All right, bye. Take care, everyone.